Biomimicry is a method of innovation in which we study nature's best ideas and abstract the principles from its natural forms, processes, and systems in order to create products and solutions to solve our most challenging technological problems that we are facing today. So this is a slide from a keynote presentation in a top company, and they're showing the waves of innovation. From 1785, there have only been 5 major waves of innovation, and they're trying to predict the next wave. The 6th wave of innovation is predicted to come from fields like biomimicry, green chemistry, and alternative resources. Green Kids Now is working very hard to bring these fields to kids right now so that we are ready to jump on the next wave of innovation. I reached out to businesses who are currently creating products using biomimicry and got some samples. I also created this display board with some examples and the displays I got. And I go around presenting this information at exhibitions and science events. So, here are some examples of innovations inspired by nature. We all know that when we leave something in water for a long time, fungi and microorganisms tend to grow on it. But we all know that sharks live in water, but they have very clean skin. Curious, scientists decided to place some samples of the shark's skin under the microscope and zoomed in to the micron level. They found interesting patterns in the shark's skin. When scientists studied the pattern, they found micron-sized spacings and in this pattern on the skin. These spacings fool the microorganisms and bacteria into thinking there's not enough flat surface to stick on. So here's a product made by Sharklet, and their product is inspired by the shark's skin pattern. They have made a surface that won't have any bacteria or microorganisms stick on it. We can coat this product in public areas like hospitals to reduce the spread of infections. By using this coating, we can avoid the need to use a lot of chemical disinfectants. So another important observation was also made by studying the shark's skin. Scientists found small teeth-like structures on the shark's skin. These teeth-like structures will tear the water ripples, so it will create less drag. That is why we barely see any big water ripples around sharks. So here's an example of a fabric made from the inspiration from shark skin. Our Olympic team used this fabric to make swimsuits. So here's an example of the swimsuit. Here is another example of an innovation that came from observing the whale fins. Scientists observed the whale fins are not smooth and it had bumps on the edge of its fins. So, a scientist mimicked the form pattern of these bumps and made the windmill blades. To his surprise, this windmill doubled the energy production even at wind speeds of only 17 miles per hour. Here are more examples. Usually, when we want to keep a surface clean, what do? We try to make the surface smoother and smoother, isn't it? But scientists found that nature handles it in a different way. In Asia, lotus is a symbol of purity. If we observe lotus, we can see that it is surrounded by dirt in the pond, yet it is very clean. Scientists started to become curious, so they decided to put the lotus leaf under the microscope. They discovered nano-sized bumps on it. When rain falls, these nanobumps cause waters to become droplets, which traps the dirt in them and then rolls down. This is a self-cleaning surface. Stolid is a company who has made a self-cleaning surface product from the lotus leaf idea, and they have provided me with a demonstration kit of their product. When I spray water when I spray water on the surface, it turns into droplets and rolls away. These self-cleaning surfaces do not need much cleaning and scrubbing at all. It doesn't even need soaps and detergents. Self-cleaning surfaces reduces our dependencies on soaps and detergents. The textile industry has also adopted this idea from the lotus leaf in order to create self-cleaning fabrics that will use less detergent to clean it. On this planet, humans are the only creatures who need soaps to clean ourselves and our surroundings. Imagine if we have more self-cleaning surfaces around us. We would not need so many soaps and detergents. We can drastically reduce the amount of chemicals that we use. Gecko is one of my favorite inspirations. Scientists have been studying the gecko for quite some time now. By mimicking the small hair-like structures in the gecko paws, we can make products that can stick to other surfaces without adhesives. These gecko-inspired sticky material are very powerful and can hold a lot of weight. There are many products that came out of the inspiration, and here are some examples. I was also inspired to write my story based on these gecko inspirations. In order to master any product for perfection, we need to do a lot of trial and error, and this takes time. But nature has done this trial and error for 3.8 billion years. The creatures we find today have gone through so many changes on this planet and have adapted very well to these changes. The creatures that could not adapt have become extinct. So, if we learn from nature, we can make better and more efficient products in less time. People ask me, what happens if we don't emulate from nature? To explain that, let me explain our current manufacturing process. Our current manufacturing process is called the heat, beat, and treat process. That is, in order to make something, we need to first heat it at a very high temperature, and then apply very high pressure to mold it, and then treat it with chemicals. This process has caused a lot of pollution, destruction of resources, wastage of materials, and needs a lot of energy to do. Nature, on the other hand, manufactures at normal temperatures, normal pressure, and uses water as a solvent. Also, there is no wastage of materials. So, don't you think it is wise to learn from and emulate from nature? Yes, it is time that we change our thinking and start learning from nature. We need to adopt biomimicry. So now I have a volunteer with me who's going to help me explain the beehive game that I created. The purpose of this game is to make people realize the trial and error process when designing any product. So the rules of this game is that you have to use sticks and lay out a geometrical design on the board for the beehive. But the challenge is you can use any other shape besides the one the beehives use. So, what geometrical shape are you using?
I am using a triangle.
Okay. So, the purpose of this game is to make people realize the trial and error process when designing any product. If we do not know how the natural beehives look, we would be starting with some geometrical shape and with several attempts come up with the best design. This is a very time-consuming process. Nature has done this trial and error process for the past 3.8 billion years. So, by mimicking natural forms, processes, and systems, we could design products that will be much more efficient, and we can make it in a shorter time frame. So now I have a volunteer with me who's going to help me demonstrate this game. So the purpose of this game is to show how the inspirations from nature and how they made the innovations. So on this side is the inspirations from nature. And here are the innovations. And the goal is to match the inspirations from nature to the innovations. And when she gets one right, a light will appear.
She is now matching the Namim desert beetle to the fog water harvesting system. The Namim beetle, which lives in the desert, goes up the tall sand dunes every day early in the morning when it is very foggy, and stands with its head downwards and its body in a 45-degree angle. Its body has a system that is able to harvest water directly from the fog. This water drips slowly into its mouth and it drinks it. So, here is a fog water harvesting system that was created from this inspiration. By mimicking the Namim desert beetle, we can create clean water from fog. This will help resolve our freshwater issues.